We've already seen that we can add in new columns to our Excel tables, but if we want to add in a new calculated column, well, the mechanics isn't any different, but the cleverness is. So let's say we want to add in a new column about here that has the initials. So I'm going to add a calculated column in that figures out the first initial and the last initial. Firstly, I need a new column. Insert table column to the left. Our new column is going to have the title of initials. Now the formula to figure out the initials is equals left, open brackets. Now it's this cell here that I want, but watch when I click on it, I don't get C2, I get at first name, which is the column. But the at symbol means I want the value of first name in the current row that I'm in. I then only want the first character, so it's comma 1, close bracket. But then I want the last name initial. So we're going to ampersand, left, open brackets. Again, I want this cell, so I click on it, and I'm not going to get E2, I'm going to get at last name. It still does the color coding thing. I've got blue at first name and red at last name. And again, I just want the first character. Now, actually, just as a little aside of the left function, if I don't say how many characters, because notice it is an optional parameter, then the assumption is 1 anyway. So I don't need to put the comma 1. Return, and you'll see I get the AC for Amanda Cook, but it also then replicates that formula down the whole table without asking me anything, just goes and does it. So I then see LM, GX, IR, JJ. Now there is a little get out of jail clause here in the drop down. I can undo the calculated column, which means the rest of the column won't have the formula in, or I can stop completely doing it anymore. Well, I don't want to stop it from doing it, because that is the whole point of me having the table in the first place, that it's going to help me out. And it's helped me out, so that's fantastic. I can just leave that alone. And that will happen with any new calculated column you add in. You simply do the formula for the first one, and the rest are just replicated for you automatically. That in itself is enough of a reason in my mind to be using tables instead of just ranges. So if we were to try here to extract the postbox name, so without the at, and we do insert table column, I'm going to call it postbox. Now we have done this previously, but it's going to be slightly different in the formula within the table. It's equals left, open brackets, that cell, which is at email address. So it's the column name with an at the front. Then how many characters do I know to grab? Well, I've got to find the at symbol. So find the at within at email address, close brackets, and close the left bracket, return. And I get Amanda at. So I'm getting the at as well, which is what happened before, because I need to take another one off. So it finds where the at is, but then takes another one off the count of how many characters from the left it's going to recall, return. And although I've made an edit just to this top function, it then replicates that change down the list, so they've all lost their at symbol at the end. There's no copying and pasting or fill handle, double click, drag down, all that kind of stuff. The table automatically replicates the calculated column for you. You do the top cell, it does the rest. No questions asked. That's the basics of adding a calculated column. You insert the blank column, you enter your formula, noticing that it doesn't use cell references, it uses the column reference, so the name of the column with an at the front, press return, and as well as entering the one formula, it then replicates that formula all the way down to the bottom of the table, all the way down here, and it's exactly the same formula replicated for me.